Hey everyone, I can't understand YouTube here. So today we're gonna be doing a review of I believe it's called the Wither Cloak Sword. I haven't seen a video on this yet, so I wanted to report on it and see how good the weapon actually is, because it costs about 10 million coins on the auction house currently, and I haven't seen anyone, do a video on it. And I think it would be a great time for me to record it, because I personally main tank in dungeons. I used to do it even before tank was not viable for floor 7, and, rip to the master of abilities. Anyway, we're gonna be recording on this bad boy right here. This is going to be the sword we're gonna be doing it on, and it isn't maxed, sadly, because my maxed out one I sold it to actually afford some other stuff. But anyway, we're gonna be doing a review on it and see how good it is against basic mobs and then dungeon mobs. All right, let's get into the video. So this first test is going to be on these guys over here, the zombies. So base damage is 14,000, but that's because all of my talismans and such reforged to pleasant, so I have maximum defense down here. Probably the best part of this sword is going to be its defense, but I'll get into that later. For right now, we're going to be testing out the damage and what it does. So, as you saw, damage is about 14,000. And that's only because I have all my talismans reforged so I don't die instantly in dungeons. So, now we're going to get into the main bit of the video, is the ability. The ability is really cool. As you can see, it's like Frozen Blaze. It does damage to everything around you. So if I stand right here, you can see it does 500 damage. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but as you can see, it ticked up to 700. This is not actual damage. This isn't damage that's negated by defense. This is true damage. So this damage, it does the same amount every single time. So it does, like, if we come over here, it just did 400, well, 500 and then 700 to that mob. It would do the exact same to, say, Withermancers. This is an extremely powerful thing, because if you combine with Frozen Blaze, you can get up to around 10,000 damage per second, I believe. And it's really good. Now, it does cost some mana to get hit, and that's probably the best part of this ability, is the fact that you take damage and you just get rid of it. That is the best part of this sword. As you can see, you can't really see it because I have a intimidation artifact, but if I head over to these crypt boys down here, just give me a second. So as you can see, it still does 500 to them. And as you can see, they aren't attacking me. But when they do attack me, it instead takes from my mana, and then it negates the damage. Now, if I can get them to attack me enough, my mana will drain, and then they'll be able to actually hit me. As you can see, it just disabled. And now they're hitting me for about 34 damage. Of course, I'm wearing my tank set, so it doesn't really do anything. If you want to see a dungeons video with me tanking and attempting F7, then, go ahead and leave a like and, comment. Now, we are going to be testing probably the only part of the sword that you should care about, and that's the defense. The ability is not that good. Why? Because you can only take about 5 hits before your mana drains. And it doesn't instantly regain your mana either. You actually have to regain your mana manually, which sucks. Alright? So, with this sword, I have Smite 6 on it, which is why I'm doing so much to these zombies. You want Smite 6 on the sword because that's how much it does in a dungeon. So, Smite 6 would do more damage in a dungeon because most of the mobs are undead. Anyway, we go on to the defense. The defense is the best part of this sword. Do not get me wrong, it's just like the Earth Shard, but better. The Earth Shard in this would probably cost around 1 million coins. This costs about 10. The reason why it costs more is because it does a lot more damage and has a lot more strength. Now, you might be thinking, why does that matter? Well, you see, it's quite simple. It's quite simple. You see, you do about 3 times as much damage, I think even 5 times. Now, you might be wondering why, because it's not 5 times the amount of stats. Well, that's because you have to count into the fact that it's a dungeon item, so it does get multiplied, and also the fact that Creeper Veil also is, existent. So now, we're going to be testing this in a dungeon. Okay, so I queued up in dungeons here, and as you can see on the sword, we have 570 defense, about 500 damage, and 350 strength, as well as 240% crit damage. Now, with this sword out, we have about 4,500 defense, and about 7,500 health. Now, of course, this is at the start of a dungeon. Also, one of my friends joined. Now, this is at the start of a dungeon. At the end of a dungeon, it's going to be multiplied, because dungeon bonuses are based on... Oh, by the way, Jingle Bells. Jingle Bells is extremely useful for tank. If you want to be a tank, you should use them. As you can see, the Shadow Assassin was targeting my friends, and now it's targeting me. And why did he leave? Oh, because he died. Okay. Well, anyway, as you can see, this thing is attacking me for some reason. And why is that? Because I use Jingle Bells. Jingle Bells makes it so everything ignores your teammates and attacks you. Quite simple. Now, the best thing about the sword, like I said, was the defense. An extra 570 defense is insane, because if you had that outside a dungeon, you could multiply your effective HP. That's how strong it is. Also, I'm not potted up right now, so I should probably do that. Get out of pot 7. As you can see, we do about 50,000 damage whenever we're potted up and first strike. And as you can see, we've already reached milestone 3 down there. Anyway, so get off of me. So our main goal here is to beat the boss, obviously. But thanks to this sword, we reached to about 350,000 effective HP at the beginning of a dungeon. If we can get all secrets, that could go up to about 900,000. Now, don't get me wrong, that is good, but it's not the best. The sword definitely isn't the reason for that either. It's my armor. My armor has an insane amount of health because it's giant armor. Okay, guys, so at the end of the dungeon, I have about 821,000 with the sword, and about, let's see, oh, I got hit. Okay, I guess I can't see then. But I get about an extra 600 HP from this, which is extremely nice. Now, I have about 13,000 HP and about 9,400 defense. Of course, the effective HP in the menu is a little bit bugged, so it's not going to be exact, but those are my stats, as you can see at the bottom. Alright, so overall, that's the sword. Personally, I don't think it's that worth 10 million coins, but I'm going to still keep it, because I play tank, and it's a nice addition to my moveset, you know? Anyway, I give this about a 5 or 6 out of 10. 5.5, let's say. It's not that good, but it does do decent damage for a tank piece, and it gives plus 600 defense. That is the Wither Sword, and I'll see you guys later.